So the most important thing to realise about teams is that every member of your team is different. Everyone will have a unique skill and ability, and your job as a leader is to understand that. Hello, my name is Mark Price. I do a number of things now. I chair Fairtrade, the charity. I sit on the board of Coca-Cola in Europe. I'm on the board of Lancaster University. I'm about to become president of the Chartered Management Institute, and 3 of those 4 are all charities and not-for-profit. I spend most of my time working on my new digital platform, which is called Engaging Works, and it's designed to help individuals and businesses improve their happiness at work. And I sit in the House of Lords. So that's what I do now. For virtually all of my business life, I was with the John Lewis Partnership. I spent 34 years with the John Lewis Partnership, about half of that time in John Lewis and then the other half in Waitrose. For the last 10 years of my life with the John Lewis Partnership, I ran Waitrose, and I was deputy chairman. But through that period as well, I did a few other things outside. So I chaired a few charities. I was on the board of Channel 4 TV. So I've done a mixture of different things throughout my working life. As well as helping my dad, I had a newspaper round. I worked for a local coal merchant. I was a postie at Christmas and Easter. I was an agricultural labourer in the summer. I went to weed a 48-acre field, I remember, in the countryside outside of Crewe. So, I mean, at that time, I was sort of working and earning money and not really even thinking about what career I was going to have. It's only as the years have passed that I've become more reflective. I remember that I joined on the graduate training programme with John Lewis. I was very lucky to get on that programme. And of the 5 of us that joined in John Lewis in Southampton in 1982, I was the last one to be promoted to the first manager level. And I wasn't very happy about it. And I went to see the managing director at the time, a very great man called Brian O'Callaghan. And he said to me, I hear you're frustrated because all the others have been promoted and you haven't. And I said, yeah, I am frustrated. I said, I feel as I've worked really hard and I don't quite understand it. And he gave me a fantastic piece of advice. He said, you don't judge your career over a day or a week or a month or a year. You judge your career over a lifetime. He said, if you work hard and if you keep your head down, then cream will rise to the top and you can see how far you can go. And from that moment on, and that was in my first year, so I'd have been 22. From that moment on, I never asked for a promotion. I've never knocked on anybody's door. I didn't ask to join the government. I never expected to join the government or go to the Lords. Every job I've had has been people approaching me saying, would you like to do this? I can remember saying to myself, oh, when you reach this position, I'll be happy. And I got to that position, and I think I was the youngest ever appointed managing director in John Lewis, and I was running the John Lewis in High Wycombe. And for a few days or so, I sat there and I thought, this is great. I've kind of, hit my ambition. I'm really happy. And then I worked out pretty quickly that actually I wasn't. And I was already thinking about, well, what job could I do next? And so I came to the conclusion that it wasn't actually getting the promotion or even the money, and I know it's easy to say that when you've got the money, that gave me the greatest thrill. What I discovered is that the greatest thrill I got was working on a project, whatever that should be, with a team of people and building something and celebrating building something and stepping back every now and again and congratulating each other on what we'd done and what we'd achieved. So it was actually what was produced that gave me greater satisfaction. And I found that I needed to just keep building. I don't really think there are any great differences in terms of a team and how you manage a team. I think that in any particular role that you're in, about 5% of what you're doing is strategy. So what are we doing? Where are we going? About 15% is about implementation. How are we going to do that? And 80% is about your people, having your people on board, keeping them alive and awake and keen to keep moving forward. So whether you're in a government or a charity or in business, those things don't change really. And making sure that there's harmony in the team is, for me, particularly important. And the way that I've always thought about doing that is goes back to something my dear old dad said to me when I was growing up. And he would say that everybody has a different view of the world, and their view of the world is based on their upbringing, their experiences, their education. And because of that, no two people think the same on anything. They might think they think the same, but the reality is the nuance of how everybody thinks is shaded and coloured by the unique experiences each of us have. And he would therefore say, if somebody disagrees with you, don't jump in and say, that's not right, it's this, but rather try and understand why they form that view of the world based on their experiences. And when you understand how they come to form their view and why they have the answer or solution they have, it will allow you to do one of two things. Either A, change your own views based on that new experience that you've gained, or be better able to explain to somebody why you have come to a different conclusion. And as a consequence of that, to get them on board with what you're trying to do. So the most important thing to realise about teams is that every member of your team is different. Everyone will have a unique skill and ability. And your job as a leader is to understand that. Well, this is awfully trite, and you'll hear lots of people say this to you, but they should do something they love. If they love painting, they should paint. If they love walking, they should walk. If they enjoy history, they should read about history. If they love film, they should watch some film. You've got to draw your enjoyment from life. I mean, this generation are going to probably live for another 70 or 80 years. That's a long time. And so really taking this time to think about, what do I want to do? What do I like doing? What do I want to be better at? What don't I do today that I think might be a good thing to learn to do in the future? And so just taking a bit of time to sit quietly and think about, what do I want to do with my life? I encourage people on Engaging Works to think about 1, 3 and 24, which goes back to that conversation I had with the graduates when they started in the business. 1 is today, 3 is 3 years, and 24 is obviously a lot longer time plan. So if you sit down today, what you should think is, what do I want to be seen as doing or have done in 24 years from now? That's way off, 2.5 decades off. What's my grand vision for 24 years? The truth is that what your grand vision is today for 24 years will not be. For 99% of people, will not be what you actually do. But it's fine to have that. I want to be the leading motor designer in the world, whatever it should be, whatever you want to be. You then need to think about 3 years. If I'm going to be the greatest motor car designer in the world in 24 years' time, what do I need to do over the next 3 years to achieve that? And that would get me thinking about, do I need to go to Formula One racing? Do I need to read books? Do I need to go and work in my local garage? What do I have to do? What sort of things do I have to do? And I would have a plan for that. Well, I think there are probably 2 things. one would be, before I came on, I had a bar of dairy milk. I think I said my dad had his own small business, and he sold crisps and sweets and confectionaries. And so from my youngest age, food has played a big part in my life. And obviously, I ran Waitrose for a very long time. So I'm still the patron of the food industry charity called Grocery Aid. And I'm on the board of Coca-Cola Europe, so I'm still involved with food and fair trade. So that, I think, an empty food wrapper, which is appropriate, would be good. And the other is this book, which is called Fairness for All, and this is the book I wrote when I left the John Lewis Partnership. And Fairness for All is all about how the John Lewis Partnership works and about a fairer form of working, fairer form of capitalism. And it sets out why that's better for individuals and for companies and society. And it sets out how the workplace should be, how the workplace should be fairer. So in this book is captured my 34 years of working for the John Lewis Partnership, which I hugely enjoyed. So I'd say those are the two things in my reach that sort of reflect some of the things I've done.